All right, joining me now is Hal Kempfer, retired lieutenant colonel in the U.S. Marine Corps and currently the president of KIP, a strategic risk management firm. Hal, good to have you with us. Hal, India and Pakistan are longtime foes, and there's always intense concern because they both have nuclear weapons. How serious is this recent flare-up?
Michelle, it's always serious. They're both nuclear armed. They're both in a pretty high state of tension. That border has always been kind of a hair trigger. It has been tamped down in more recent years. It hasn't been quite the tension that we saw before, but we've seen how fast this thing can kind of rise up. I was a senior intelligence officer in the Middle East back in 2002, very much focused on the India-Pakistan tensions at that time. And of course, the fears of two nuclear powers potentially going to war, and it's a little unnerving as to how fast tensions, not just at the highest levels, but tensions within the body politic of both nations can rise up. And Kashmir is really a flashpoint, and it always has been.
Hal, India has demanded that Pakistan take credible and visible action over the suicide attack. India accuses Pakistan of supporting the Jaish-e-Mohammed militant group that's claimed responsibility for this. Pakistan, of course, denying this and arguing that India has no evidence. But, Hal, does Pakistan, in fact, provide a safe environment for militant groups or terrorist organizations? I mean, is it really doing anything to crack down on them?
Well, to some extent, they have been. One of the issues, and a number of these groups, to include the one that we're talking about with this attack, were actually in some ways kind of creation of ISI, which is the Pakistani intelligence service. The Taliban, in some ways, were creation of ISI way back when. And they've always had this sort of, overtly, they don't want to say that they're doing this, but covertly, they've been backing these groups for decades, pursuing a long-term policy of bringing Kashmir as an integral territorial part of Pakistan, and they allow this to happen. Of course, Lashkar-e-Taiba, the group that attacked Mumbai back in 2008, falls into this category of groups that are primarily focused on basically attacking India.
So then
and
India
with
has...
that, the biggest tension is...
So then India effectively has a point when it points the finger at Pakistan for bearing a role in all of this.
Michelle, absolutely. There's a lot of history there. And when they pointed the finger at this group and said that they came from Pakistan, the Indian intelligence service has a pretty good idea of what's going on. And I don't think that was without basis.
India is saying that it's going to take action. Pakistan saying that if India does that, it will retaliate. How do you see that playing out?
That's a little unnerving. I'm hoping that what they're talking, of course, they've already retaliated. They raised their tariffs up 200%, and a number of things along that line. And hopefully it'll stay restricted to diplomatic issues, maybe some economic sanctions, things like that. The fear is that they will do something in the military realm, possibly an airstrike or something like that. And in the current tensions, any sort of military strike could escalate very quickly.
What do you make of the Saudi crown prince trying to mediate this?
Michelle, that's actually probably a kind of a unique situation. Saudi Arabia has a very good relationship, long-standing relationship with Pakistan, and an extremely close relationship with India. There's almost 3 million Indian nationals that live and work in Saudi Arabia. Of course, the oil from Saudi Arabia going over to India as well. But there's a lot of back and forth within the region. Same thing with Pakistan. And they are kind of uniquely positioned to have a high level of credibility and a high level of cordial interface, if you will, with the leaders of both countries. So they are a very effective intermediary, and they might, the Crown Prince might be uniquely situated to kind of de-escalate what's happening right now.
Yeah, I mean, this dispute over Kashmir has been going on since the 1970s. So hopefully there is more international effort being galvanized to find a diplomatic solution to all of this. Hal, always good to have you on the show. Thank you so much, Hal Kempfer.
Thank you, Michelle.